All right. I had my mic muted this entire time. So I just been talking to myself. How long have I just been talking to myself for? I've been talking to myself for like 2 minutes or something. Um, or something like that. Yeah, so I had this button pressed that I forgot that I had on, and then I realized there was no audio. So let me just start that again. Welcome YouTube. Sorry about the late start. And it's because it's 9 o'clock. It's like 4 hours later than I normally start. It's way off. Today is just kind of a unicorn of a day with just back-to-backs and scheduling conflicts, non-stop delays, non-stop. It was just one of those days. Um, what I was talking about with the crude oil is that first of all, I didn't take too many trades, and I was looking at the opening range. This is the opening range of crude oil, the opening 5 minutes, and it's actually a little bit bigger. It's kind of a big zone, right? It's like right around my max, and I didn't really see much room to take a profit, even though I did think that it was a bullish candle and everything like that, right? It's blue, and yeah, I did think that I would get it, but I didn't like the risk reward didn't really make sense. So because of this zone, so I went to the 2 hour zone. This zone from the beginning of the month, this area where we have this I don't know what kind of candlestick formation this is, but you can see that you got the hammer here, long wick on the 2 hour. That's something you gotta be mindful of. You can't disrespect that. And what I was saying was, we can see that earlier today we did break through it, but it was a wick. It wasn't a solid close above. I'll get into that in just a second. But for now, just talking about the opening range, I didn't want to take it because I knew that defense was in my face. So I didn't take the shot. And I certainly didn't think that, and there was no reason to take it short because of the bullish momentum that it had going in for the past this entire week, right? So what I ended up doing was I ended up taking a shot at this quarter, right? Quarters are my bread and butter. Although I do love the idea of the opening range being available on a daily basis, so I get more reps in, and I do think that I've gotten a little bit better with the opening range, or in like and internalizing how to play it. Although I feel like my biggest issue right now is not taking the winners and like kind of like missing it, because the opening range you got to be quick. And sometimes I'm not quick. I'm more of a set forget kind of trader. Like that's what I've been kind of more used to, and that's the way that I was trained. So I'm usually going for retracements. I'm usually playing for a retracement or a pullback. I'm not usually I'm not one of those quick scalper kind of people. Um, so what are we looking at here? So we're doing that. So it actually did break up around, and I did not feel FOMO. So I'm really happy about that. I'm proud of myself for not being like, oh my God, and at least I could have gotten 1-to-1 out of this. I probably could have gotten squeezed out even a 2-to-1 out of this if I had known it was going to break the zone that much. But um, it went into this area, and it peaked out a little bit, and that's kind of what I thought, that what I was expecting. But then it also broke through, and this is exactly what happened. And let me just zoom out a little bit here. This is exactly what happened, I think, last week or the week before, down here, which pissed me off so much, because like I was already in a losing streak. I don't know if you remember my episode from way back then, and I saw a similar kind of formation here, but this is on the hourly, right? Not quite the same kind of candlestick formation. It's just like really crazy. Was this a breakout day? Was this a news breakout? I don't know. This is the opening range. It's just a crazy amount of movement here. I remember saying like, okay, this is like if you're an active quarters trader in crude oil, this is $1,000 move in a matter of 2 hours, right? This right here, or at the very least, maybe, maybe 800 or like 750 at least, because you would definitely at least go from the major quarter to the band, the red solid to the green solid, and back, right? You would at least do that because that's more bread and butter for the quarters. But what I was trying to say was, like, we had that, and this is an area that I was very, very respectful of, just like this area up here last week. And what we saw happen was, like, crude oil, like, is a little bit more volatile than just taking small quarters, apparently, right? That's what we're noticing. It did break above, because this is technically, like, this level, this 41.75 is not fresh anymore. So it did break above, and I thought it would stay within the range of a quarter, which it didn't last time, and but it did break to the next quarter. The next quarter held, right? It's a smaller quarter. It's not as strong of a price, but what I'm noticing is that crude oil, I need a little bit more wiggle room. And my area of, like, I'm so committed to this notion of, like, like 2% of my account, or 2.5% is of my account of a risk is, $125, and that happens to exactly be a small quarter. So my stop can't be at any more than a quarter. So I'm going from level to level, and I'm not giving myself enough breathing room when crude oil is something that definitely demands it. That's what I'm learning. And so, all right, so I understand that I'm gonna need to take my shots, for a set and forget, like maybe one step back, one quarter back, right? And that's what ended up happening last week, with the same kind of analysis that I found that happened literally today, which is that, I was much more composed about it today, and I actually didn't take the shot, and I knew to let it go. And, like, I kind of thought, something like this might happen again, but I was also a little bit surprised that it broke through. And then, yeah, I don't know. I was just a little bit surprised to be right about it this time around. Overall, if we're zooming out a little bit onto the 4 hour, you can see that we have momentum above 60. Right now we're kind of chopping around, and it almost looks like it's a little bit of a consolidation, but this is on the overnight session. I did take a shot off this quarter, the 43.25. My target is the 44.25. It is a stretch of a target. So once I start breaking above this zone, I will start implementing probably a trailing stop, because as much as this is bullish, I need to see a lot more convincing evidence for me to be confident that it's going to take up, that it's going to reach the 44.25. If we go all the way back, like, I don't even know when the last time we hit 44.25. I think I have to go to the continuous to even see that. And look back, 44.25. This was like before the COVID crash, or, like, maybe a little bit. I don't know. I consider this gap to be the COVID crash. So it's like, so we're approaching that area where, look at this consolidation, right? It's really just chopping around in this zone, and it just doesn't want to. If it breaks, I feel like it's gonna break hard. At least up until this level or this level. So we might see it crack. What was I saying? 44.25. So, like, the 45 major quarter. We might see it crack that, but there's a lot in our way and a lot of pressure keeping it down still. So I don't know who's going to win, the Bulls or the Bears. I'm not sure. My big win today came from taking profit on the Australian dollar, which I mentioned yesterday that I took. Did I take the trade yesterday or 2 days ago? Sometimes, like, this week has just been kind of a daze for me, and I don't remember what day is what. So I did take a shot, small. It was a small win. I took a shot from this green line to this red line. So this is a major quarter. This is a 250. The hesitation band off of that. I just took the retracement of that. It got me in. My stop held, and I took a profit. I think I took one or two contracts. I can't really exactly remember. There's no need to stagger the profit taking because this is such a small area. This is like a 3 to 1. Um, really bread and butter. There's no real reason to like and it's the currency is so small anyway. There's no reason to do the 1 to 1 and then take profit at a 1 to 1, ensure the free trade, and then go for the 3 to 1. There was no real reason to do that. I mean, because they're not worth managing to that micromanagement level. So what I'm looking for now is I want to see it close above, because this 250 did spank it back down, right? And that's what I wanted to avoid. That's why I took the profit. And so I'm okay with it for now, even though, like, I don't know, like the behavior in the past, the choppiness, where this to me looks kind of bullish, but it also looks kind of sideways to me too. So that's why I took that. But I didn't follow my own advice on the freaking SMP, which I really could have made if I had done my what my usual thing is, where I stack quarters. I would have it would have been a much better bet, and that's usually what I do. Except that I had a target and I hit it, and I didn't even know because I have notifications turned off now. And for the most part, it's like less stressful because I'm obsessing less. But then again, if I mismanage a trade, then it's like I miss out on huge opportunities like this. So like this is what I'm talking about. So I have the I'm just drawing the line here. I'm gonna make it dotted though, because it's at a 450. So hold on. And let's just be precise about it. This is a 50. If you know quarters trading like I do, then you know that this is also a butter 50. So is it a butter 50? 250, 750, 050, and 450. No, I think this is well, it doesn't matter. I'm just talking to myself. You probably don't recognize that, but I did have a take profit set here, but you can see it just blasted through, right? And like no problem, no hesitation, blasting through here. I wasn't paying attention. Again, like this is this happened at 10 o'clock. Like by then I was already doing other things. On meetings and calls and stuff like that, and I didn't actually get a chance to even know that I was out of this trade. I came back in later. I'm like, what the hell happened? How come I'm not profitable? I'm like, oh, I took profit way too early. And here's the thing, right? Like, with this much, like the same kind of philosophy of the Australian dollar does apply, right? And like I see divergence, which is like a warning sign that like, hey, maybe momentum's gonna wear off and it's gonna reverse itself. So it's not that bad. It's not like I don't feel that much FOMO missing out. But the thing is, once I break out above here, like this is all time highs, right? So there's really nothing. There's like no pressure keeping it down if I just like on the breakout of this. So usually the breakout or the profit taking comes at all-time highs, but like usually it comes after the price has been established a little bit. So normally what I would do is like, oh, if it breaks above here, I would stack a quarter. I wouldn't normally have a take profit. And this is one of those cases where the way that I stumbled, the order forced me to establish a take profit. So I just put it at the next quarter instinctively out of habit. But that was the wrong move. I would have much rather kept it open and got to another quarter, or stacked one and got to another quarter here, and push it up to 500. Look at how much momentum there is right now. So I am going to take this quarter live in front of you guys. Come on. Don't be slow. Come on. Just so you know that, I'm not... kidding me right now? I think broadcasting and having this open like severely lags my computer or the browser. Or maybe it's Chrome that's lagging because it has all these other windows up as well. I don't know. But I'll take a limit order. And I'm taking 12.5 points. I don't know if that's obvious, right? 75 minus 12.5 is 62.5. That's my 62.50. And I'm just going to take the 1. And hopefully it picks me up. And you can see the live order go through right now. Oh, damn it. I still don't have enough margin. Okay, so like this is the annoying part in futures. I figured I was out of the Australian dollar trade, and so that freed up my margin because I just took some profit off that. But right now, the crude oil overnight, like holding a crude oil trade overnight, is so costly that I can't do this. So it's like, do I want to just take the profit off the crude oil? I don't know. I don't really know. I am going to leave it for now, but this is one of those things that, like, you know, because I'm working with a $5,000 account, although it's a little bit less because I had such a terrible week last week. I'm negative for the month, this month, but like that's still not enough margin to be doing stuff over on the overnight. So I don't know how I have to deal with that. I like TradeStation. I don't want to leave, but their margins are not the friendliest. So this is going back to what I said the other day about, like, you know, you don't have this problem in Forex. Forex is a simpler life. And you're just restricted to currencies. Although I think they are like, they do have, depending on your broker, indices are available as well. But I'm not really familiar. The broker that I was using for Forex wasn't like that. I think you'd have to go with like non-US based brokers. I'm not really too familiar with them. I started exploring futures before I ever got into that kind of stuff. So that's really it. You know, I don't really have that many trades going. The big things that I missed out on was wheat. Like I had this marked off. This was a pick from a pro, which I said that I wasn't really gonna follow anymore, but this was from one of the people that I did like to follow, and this was a beautiful trade. But this zone was too big for me, so I had an order set here, and then like I had an order set literally at 531 and a half. This is 4/8, which is a half, right here. And I never got picked up, right? But this was the zone, but I cut it in like, you know, a little less than a half. And like, if I had just put it right here, I would have gotten picked up. And what kind of move is this? To the 540? I'm pretty sure the target was 539. Yeah, that's $300 that I missed out on because it literally missed my entry by 1 tick. And the same thing also happened to me on the natural gas as well. It literally, I literally, it came to my, I think this was my target down here, right at the bottom of these wicks, and it came down within 1 tick, and then it stopped me out for like either a break even or something close to a break even. Right? Not much profit there. So a lot of things happen where it's just like, you know, there was opportunity. I was so close. It was like one of those basketball shots where it just like goes in and out of the rim and just like doo-doo-doo, right? Like it's like halfway down the hoop, but then it falls out and it's just like, what the hell are you kidding me right now? So that's kind of what that felt like with the crude oil and with the corn. I mean, with the wheat. Sucks. I do have my eye on the quarter. I drew some quarters lines for some ag products like corn, and I am eyeballing this right here. So I'm gonna set up an alert for this right here. so that I know that when it approaches the 57, the 357 and a half in the ag products, you have to know how to read it differently. It's 4/8, so that's technically 357.5, which is the which is the 75. It's like three small quarters off of the 350, or the 3500, as if you want to look at it that way, right? Because of the double zero. So that's really it for today. Not too many trades. I'm not in all that much. I do have my British pound still going. It's still chugging away here. I have my profits there. It's only one contract. Nothing to do except wait. Although at this point, I will show you, like, I can probably move my stop even closer to up here, because it's really established that a lot of, if it was like chopping around at this quarter, I wouldn't do it, but it really established lows on the hourly that 75 looks pretty safe as a stop. So I am going to do that, and that's it. I can't enter any other trades because I have crude oil holding up all my margin. So if I wanted to do something really badly, I would have to get out of that. But I don't know. That's the dilemma. It's not exactly, that's not really part of my plan. My plan is to hold it till profit. So that is a different element of futures that's been consistently showing up, and I haven't really had an answer for how I'm gonna deal with it. So that's something that you can stay tuned and to see how I figure all that out and see what's the best fit for me, especially now that I'm even busier these days. That's how things are lining up. So that's it for today, and I will see you tomorrow for another episode of YouTube. Thanks, guys.